I've recently been asking myself this question of, is there such a thing as a good troubled teen program? The troubled teen industry is a massive $50 billion industry that supposedly offers therapy programs for so-called troubled teens. So teens with various mental health issues, supposedly with so-called behavioral problems, with issues with their environment, etc. And I was wondering if there's such a thing as a good troubled teen program because I've known so many people that have been so incredibly harmed by this industry. I've known a ton of people that have died very young, before the age of 30. I've known many people that have had tremendous trauma and PTSD because of these programs. People that have been addicted to drugs because of their trauma in these programs. People who have had their relationships destroyed because of them. So I've seen a lot of harm caused by it, and I was wondering if there's really any good programs out there, or if the whole industry is really harmful. And of course, there's a lot more awareness nowadays about this industry. There are large movements of survivors that are trying to bring change to this industry and shut the whole thing down. So I looked at the one program that, to my knowledge, is the very best. It, to my understanding, has the reputation as being the most holistic program, the most sophisticated, and generally the one with the best reputation. Because I thought that that would give me some sense of if there is a good program out there. Because if there is one, this is probably going to be it. I saw the founder of this program giving an interview where he was saying things that seemed to make a lot of sense to me and seemed to actually be pretty aware. He was saying things like the best thing for a kid is for their parents to work on themselves rather than trying to fix the kid, which to me was pretty significant because the troubled teen industry, to my knowledge, seems to generally be premised on the idea that what matters is fixing the kid and making the kid basically more convenient for the parents, never mind the harm that's actually done to them by approaching it this way. And so he was saying a lot of things that seemed to make a lot of sense, and seemed to be pretty aware. And then I looked at the website of the program, and I looked at the kinds of issues in these teenagers that they treated. And it was everything from anxiety to depression to things like oppositional defiant disorder, to what they call school refusal. And this got me to realize that the fundamental premise of the program is really the same, it seems to me, as all of the other troubled teen programs, which is that fundamentally, the kid has a problem in themselves. Their problem is not really truly related to their interaction with the environment. They might in some ways pay lip service to this, but fundamentally, they were framing all of these issues as something that this program can help the kid with. Because if they genuinely believed that these kids' problems, whether it's anxiety or school refusal or so-called oppositional defiant disorder, if they truly believe that these things arose out of an interaction with the environment, then they would see big issues with what they're doing, which is taking the kid out of that environment, putting them in a totally different environment, and then helping them, right? All that they can be doing in that case is helping the kid adjust. It would seem to me that they couldn't actually be helping the kid with truly whatever it is they truly need and what they truly want, because they're taking the kid out of that environment in which those problems arose. So it seems to still be predicated on the idea that the kid has a problem and that problem is located in the kid. The other thing I saw on this program's website was when it discussed these various issues that they could help treat the kid for, they had various ideas and various explanations for what could be going on with the kid. And this to me seemed very much in line with what the mental health industry does in general, which is you have a therapist that believes that because they have studied what the industry knows about these various issues and what is causing them and what's going on, that therefore they know what is going on for you in your inner world. They are essentially more of an authority on what is going on for you in your inner world than you are. And of course, they do not admit this, but I think that this is fundamentally what is really going on when they approach things this way. And this puts the kid that is in treatment or the therapy client or whomever in a situation where they have to essentially abandon their own truth that is coming up through them, that is actually happening inside of them and coming through them. They have to abandon that and bury that and replace that with whatever the therapist says that comes from the therapist's own ideas and the therapist's own framework. And this is incredibly damaging because it's destroying authenticity. And it also raises major issues of cognitive liberty because you have this authority, this professional class that is telling you that they know about your inner world better than you do. And it would seem to me that this would definitely prevent self-actualization. It would prevent and get in the way of the realization of your own potential. And so it's a major barrier to the kind of quality of life and the kind of fulfillment and the kind of contribution that you really want to have and you really want to make. So I ultimately concluded that no, I don't think that there is such a thing as a good troubled teen program, at least not nowadays, because the premises are still fundamentally about, it seems to me, about fixing the kid, about identifying the problem as being with the kid and fixing the kid for the sake of the environment, because the kid is being a pain in the ass for the environment. Now, you might say, well, sure, that doesn't sound good, but I mean, what would you do instead? Like, is there anything else you can do instead? And I think the answer is absolutely. But we need to do something uncomfortable, which is we would need to actually wonder, what is it the kid actually wants, right? What is actually true for their experience? And what is actually true for them? So if you think of any of these issues that these programs are trying to treat, that, you know, their parents or educational consultants or whatever say, this kid has this problem, we need you to treat it. What is their experience of it? Is the kid really like, oh, I have oppositional defiant disorder and it's so bad, I mean, what do I do about it? Or, oh, I'm refusing to go to school, but I really just want to go to school, like what's going on? I think that we need to actually look at what's true for them, and we need to actually help empower them to kind of own their own narrative and sort of go on their own path, their own sort of self-determined path. But instead, what these programs are doing is very much the opposite. It's saying, this is your problem, this is what it's going to take to fix it, and this is what matters. So for example, a kid that's refusing to go to school, who knows what is going on for that kid and what they actually want? You know, for me, I didn't like school because I thought that it was coercive. I knew at a very deep level that it was destroying, at least temporarily, my creativity, and it was sort of beating my curiosity out of me. But these were not things that I was allowed to say. These people that said that they were my friends and said that they were trying to help me, who had power over me, were telling me that these thoughts were immature and that actually I needed to just do exactly what the school said, or else it reflected poorly on me. It meant that I was stupid. It meant that I didn't have a future. And so the kind of help that I needed would have been about pushing aside these narratives, seeing them for the bullshit that they are, and then empowering myself to do what actually made more sense for me. And there's a lot more creativity in that as opposed to coercion. And so I think that a program that fundamentally has these premises is ultimately going to have to silence the teenager in order to produce the kind of results that the program is promising. Because at the end of the day, again, these kids are not the ones paying for the program, and they're really not the real customers. The real customers are the parents, maybe the schools. The real customers are the people with power over these young people. And ultimately, this gets back to a larger pattern, which I've talked about a lot on this channel, which is that these adults with power over us have shaped us and have turned us into something that we're not. And they've essentially brainwashed us. And so we really need to kind of reclaim our own power and reclaim who we are. And that is the really exciting process. Of course, it's very difficult. You have to face a lot of pain. We need to sort of get rid of the kinds of things that we brought into our life to help us avoid that pain. But in doing that, it's a very magical process, I think, because we really get to kind of reclaim who we are, and we get to sort of bring change to these various screwed up systems, like the troubled teen industry, like our family life for a lot of us, like the mental health industry, which harms a lot of people and harms a lot of young people. I have a video on that, so I would encourage you to check that out. Or like the school system. So there's all these different systems that are really screwed up, that are kind of taking our power away. And, you know, this is again, this is so many of our direct experience, right? It's not some abstract idea. It's our very direct experience that we really need to kind of reconnect with the truth of. So I really hope that you found this helpful. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Please consider sharing this video with anybody that you think might enjoy it. Thank you so much, and I look forward to having you next time.